Change happens on projects. If you've managed a project, you've seen it time and time again. Sometimes the change is big and requires an adjustment to your scope and plan. Other times it's minimal and doesn't impact too much. Either way, as a project leader, you have to stay on top of change to make sure it doesn't impact your budget, timeline, or team negatively. You may not be able to keep project change from happening, but you can manage it. In project management, change management refers to the process used to identify, document, and remediate change in a project. That change could alter the scope, budget, resourcing, and timeline of a project, or it could just alter an existing project requirement and nothing else. Like projects, change comes in many shapes and sizes, so it's up to you as the project manager to keep an eye out for it and apply the proper steps to avoid project combustion. Every organization handles change management differently, but a change request form is a simple tool you can use to document and track ongoing change. Whether you have a change management process in place or not, it's important to think through the logical steps you might take to accept and agree to a project change. When a stakeholder or team member makes a change request, you'll want to inspect it to make sure the change is necessary. Then assess the impacts. Here are a few simple questions to help you and your team determine how to handle the change. Once you've discussed these questions with your team and stakeholders, you can focus in on how the change will impact your timeline and budget. It's a good idea to get your team together to talk about the level of effort required by the impending change. For instance, let's say you're scoped to install an in-ground pool and the customer decides to add a hot tub after the pool's already been dug. You'll need to figure out how that affects the existing plan, labor, and eventually costs before moving forward. After all, stopping work to redesign the pool, get the customer's approval on the new design, and order the proper materials sounds expensive and time-consuming. In some cases, a stakeholder may be fine with the change and its associated costs, but often it can be just as much of a surprise to them as the original change request was to you. Be thoughtful and spell out all the steps the change will require, making sure to get specific about potential project schedule and budget impacts. That way, everyone can agree on next steps and any added costs before you proceed with the work. Once everyone agrees on next steps, it's time to update your plan. Having a documented plan makes it easier to manage change through to completion because it provides a single source of truth for your project. If the change affects your timeline, be sure to capture a baseline of your plan before you reschedule tasks so you can track changes to your plan over time. You can use those learnings to inform project decisions and improve future planning. Then, adjust all impacted tasks in your plan to make sure it's up to date. Of course, anytime you make changes to your plan, you'll need to let your team and stakeholders know. That way, everyone's on the same page about the path moving forward and can work together to bring the project home successfully. The best way to document and get approval for a change and everything that comes with it is to write a change request. If you're not sure where to start, download a copy of our free Google Docs change request form template. We've kept this change request form template short and sweet because these are the basics you'll need to manage change on multiple projects. After all, templates should make your job easier. But feel free to adapt this template to make it yours. You may want to add your own logo to the header or even format a change request as a written contract rather than a form. Whatever you do, just be sure to include a form of written agreement in your change management process. And that's it for this video on managing change in your projects. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, I'd love it if you could return the favor and hit the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our videos. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.